How are you doing? So today I want to talk to you about NFTs. So a lot of people have been asking me if I could talk a little bit about NFTs, what they are, some use cases for them. So that's what I decided to do today. And quite aptly, it's this NFT block is part of a chain because NFTs are on the blockchain. So NFTs, what are they? Well, first of all, let's share screen and go straight to this link, which I'll put in the description below because this is a very good article on from 101blockchains.com, but I'll leave a link below where they describe what NFTs are there and some of their use cases. What I specifically want to talk about is some of their use cases, and I'm going to hone in on one or two here. So an NFT means non-fungible token. So what is a fungible token? So for example, if you lent me $10 today and tomorrow I gave you back $10, then you wouldn't care whether it was the same $10 note or a different $10 note. Both of them are of equal value and you can use them equally as you go on about your business. With NFTs, each one is absolutely unique. So if you were to lend me an NFT today and I gave you back a different one, you may not be too happy because they are all unique in their own way. So some of the use cases you can see on here, and if you want to pause the video and read through these, you certainly can. But the ones I want to hone in on are specifically here, mainly around gaming, but it also touches into collectibles and virtual worlds. To do this, I'm going to use a particular NFT project. It's not me promoting the project. It's just one that I know quite a bit about. I do have involvement in it, as in I have invested into it, but I'm not here promoting it. It's just one that I know well, and I think it's the easiest way for me to explain NFTs and why that might be something you'd be interested in doing within, within Hyper. So first, I'm going to bring you on to a project called Rumble Kong League. So what is that? Well, so this is on OpenSea. OpenSea is an NFT marketplace. It's the most well-known and most heavily used. OpenSea is where you can put your NFT collectibles, or it's where you can go in and buy and store in your own wallet from here. So just as an example, and this is a relatively typical example, Rumble Kong League have 10,000 items in total. That means they have uniquely 10,000 different types. In this one, you can see there's 3,100 owners. That means approximately on average, there's 3.2, 3.3. Each owner owns on average 3.2 or 3.3. So obviously some people might own 10 or 15 of them. And of course, plenty of people will own one of them of those 3,100 owners. The floor price at the moment is 0.55 of Ethereum. Just roughly, that's about $1,000. When these were minted originally about 12 months ago, they were minted for in around $200. So already, if you had minted one of these back 12 months ago, worst case right now, they're worth 5 times more. But that's based on the floor price. The floor price is the cheapest available one you can buy right now. So these are the Rumble Kong apes in the Rumble Kong League. So what are these? So these are basically, you can see they're all different in some way. Their backgrounds are different. The headscarf, they might have them. They might have different color ones. Their facial expressions, their color of their fur, what they might be wearing. You can see this guy has got a gold tooth, beard, whatever. So between all these different variations, they've made 10,000 of these. And so if you choose that you want to buy into these, well, the cheapest one on the market right now is this guy, which of course is the floor price, 0.549, which rounded is our floor price up here, 0.55. Which is about $1,000. So if you want to buy one of these, the cheapest one you can buy right now is $1,000. Why would you want to get one of these? So what is this project about? So if you click on here, the Rumble Kong League is a competitive play-to-earn basketball experience, combining engaging gameplay and Web3 functionalities, enabling users to compete in engaging ways through NFTs. Only one Kong is needed to play the game. Everyone is welcome. So as they've said here, they've launched with 10,000 of these tokens, which are basically these NFTs. They're called the Kongs. And alongside a truly unique look, each Kong comes with a randomly generated set of attributes, I'll touch on this in a second, that can influence their performance in a match, providing additional depth and strategic elements. So what's all this about? So basically what they've done here is they've created these 10,000 apes, and they all look different in different ways, and some are more unique than others. So, for example, a gold tooth might be very rare, whereas a black cap, loads of them might have it. So, obviously, the rarer features they have, the more valuable they naturally would be visually. In the Rumble Kong League, what they're doing is they're actually creating in a metaverse digital game of basketball where there'll be 3 apes versus 3 apes. There's going to be 3,000 clubs. So there are people out there who have bought clubs, the right to have a club, and they then will need a team of apes. So if you can consider it like, I don't know, like the Premiership soccer in real life, the people own the club, they want to assemble the best team. So they go and pay the biggest money for the best player. So if you have a guy who's got a brilliant track record of scoring loads of goals, you're going to pay a lot more for that player than someone who scores 3 or 4 goals a season. Same if you have an unbelievable goalie who can make unbelievable saves, one of the best goalies in the world, you're going to pay quite a lot for him. Whereas if they're not particularly good, you're going to pay much less, and maybe they wouldn't be in a Premier League team. So the same applies to these guys. But this is where this is a little bit different to a lot of projects out there. Many projects are purely based on how the digital art looks. And so you can have apes on here that are more expensive purely based on their looks. For me, what I think is more interesting is which of them have the best shooting record, vision record, or well, not record, but abilities. So have they a high percentage for shooting? Have they a high percentage for defending? And I think that's what's really going to create the big value in these. Why would that be? So let's actually just have a look through. I'll explain the differences between the two, and then I'll try and explain why you would want to buy one of these potentially and how that can benefit you over time. So first of all, let's have a look at some of these. So if I click on this one, for example, you can see this one is currently for sale for 100 Ethereum, which, as you can see the number there, it's 183,000 to buy this NFT. I can imagine most people would be looking at this going, this is completely and utterly nuts. Why would anybody pay that sort of money for a digital picture? Well, the point on this one is particularly rare in the overall scheme of the 10,000 on there. Why? Because having a crown is really rare. Having this color fur is really rare. Having this particular jacket is really rare. This gold necklace is really rare. So let's have a look. If we scroll down, we actually can see how rare they actually are. So for example, the light gray, which is the background color here, there's only 9% have this trait. That's relatively rare, but not hugely. That means 900 out of the 10,000 have this gray background. But here's where it gets really rare. There's only 0.33% have this fusion vest. So that means there's only 330 have this particular vest. Also, there's only 0.28% have the bloodshot blue eyes, as you can see here, bloodshot blue. There's only 0.53 have the fur, this bluey fur. There's only 0.43 have the crown. So to have one of these really rare things would make it quite rare, but having loads of these really rare things mean it's extremely rare. And you can actually check up how rare any particular ape is. But you can see here having the Jesus necklace is extremely rare. There's only 0.18% have it. And again, the mouth, the way the mouth is shaped is it. So when you put all those together, it adds up to being a pretty rare looking ape. How would you figure out? You can go onto a website called and I'll just go back to here so you can, it's rarity.tools. Again, I'll put this in the link. You can go in here and check collect any range of NFTs you want. So this one's called Rumble Kong League. So I'll just click on that and it brings up all these apes. This one being the most rare looking of all, number 1. And you can imagine that's going to be quite expensive. But let's have a look at the one we were just looking at, which is this guy here. He's 4,805. So let's put that in here. So I can put it up, his ID up there, 4,805. Let's look him up and see how rare he actually is. He's the 14th rarest. You can see up here that he is the 14th rarest. So out of 10,000, he is number 4 in the rarest on how he looks. And this guy is now selling for 100 Ethereum, which is 183,000. You can go and check the history of this ape as well. So you can go and see, if you decide, you can just click buy now. You could make an offer for a lesser amount of money and see if they would sell to you. you can actually see this guy who has them actually paid 8 Ethereum about a year ago for this particular ape. He's now selling for 100. That doesn't mean he's going to get it, but he has it up there at a buy now price for 100. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. A lot of it will depend on his value in the gameplay. So the next thing I want to look at is this button here, whereas you can see their boost. So this is their abilities within the game itself. If you click on this boost, a good boost score would be, 220, 230, maybe a little higher. The higher, the better. Obviously, below 200, not so good. And we can see here, if you add this one up, this one has what? He's got 87, that's 129 plus, what's that? 90. So it's about 219. It's decent. It's a decent boost score. So this particular ape has very good vision. So you can imagine it's highly likely this ape is going to be good at passing. It's got good vision for the actual game itself. It's got, only okay shooting. It's a poor finisher, and it's okay defensively. So if you wanted a good ape with good vision, then you may want to get this ape for within the team. If you have a team, if you have a club and you're looking for a good ape, then maybe this is an ape that you'll want. So if you're the owner of it, then they may pay you for it. But let me just keep going just to make a comparison. So this guy is really rare to look at, but just, pretty decent as gameplay, and selling for 100 Ethereum. If we look at another one that I found earlier that's also selling for 100 Ethereum, well, let's see, is he rare looking? Let's see it as on those details. So if we just scroll down here, we'll have a look. So the gray background, actually, same as the last one, 9%. The navy suit, 3%, not usually, rare-ish, but not that rare. 10%, 19%, 5%, 5%. So not really rare stuff at all. So to look at, this ape is not rare. So why is it selling for 100 Ethereum, the same as the one that was extremely rare, as the number 14 rarest one there? This one probably isn't even in the top 5,000 rare. So why is it selling for similar money? Well, let's have a look and see what it's like in its boost. So these are this ape's ability in the actual gameplay. So this one has got, if you add these up, that comes to 306. So this is one of the rarest and best. This is the one that can, it's got brilliant shooting at 93. That's going to be right up there at the top of one of the best shooters in the business. 80% vision as well. So it's going to be able to see those passes, make the runs, get the shots in. A decent finisher and quite good defensively as well. So a bit of an all-rounder and really right up there. So this ape will be in huge demand, I would expect, within the gameplay. So what's that all mean? So now imagine, let's say you are the owner of this ape, and let's see how much they actually paid as we're at it. So the person that owns this, if we go back in history, paid 7 Ethereum for this ape, again, going back about a year ago. Currently, they have it up there. If someone wants to buy it for 100 Ethereum, and you might go, why would anyone ever pay that much money for this digital NFT? And maybe you're right. But if this Rumble Kong League turns out to be very successful, and already they've got a pretty significant following, then it's highly likely that the likes of this ape is going to be in huge demand by all the top clubs. So the top clubs, or the 300 clubs that are going to be there, the top clubs many of them are going to want this ape. What happens then? They're going to bid it up. So either they're going to pay the big money to actually own the ape, or they may go to the owner of the ape and say, we would like to rent this ape from you, and we're prepared to pay this much per week for it. And of course, you can negotiate that and decide whether you want to do that or not. Or you might decide, well, I'll actually rent you the ape. You can have it for free, but I want a percentage of all profits made by the club during the season. So either of those could add up to very significant money. They may well, for example, say, well, we absolutely need this ape. We have to have him in our team. We're prepared to pay you $5,000 a month for this ape. So now, $5,000 a month for the ape is 60 grand a year. Is the ape now worth 183 grand? You might decide it is, or you might decide it isn't. But the point is, the person that bought this bought it for 7 Ethereum, which is, let's just call it 14,000 for now. If they're making 5,000 a month for the foreseeable future, while Rumble Kong League is popular and maybe it grows, then the value of this goes in value as an asset, plus you're able to rent it out. You literally could live off renting out this ape. If you had bought it in the early days when it was only 7 Ethereum, and now you're, which was 14,000, and now you're earning $5,000 a month. And I'm not saying it's going to be $5,000 a month. These are just examples. But imagine you're earning $5,000 a month on this one ape. That's enough to have a very good lifestyle just from having bought the right NFT at the right time. Now, of course, the Rumble Kong leak might be a complete failure. It might be an utter disaster. The person that bought this for 7 Ethereum, it might be completely worthless in 12 months' time. That's the other alternative. But they are the risks you take. So then you want to, if you want to get into this space in the NFT market, you want to get into the particular project as early as possible so you can buy these as cheaply as possible. And then if the project is successful, then you have either an asset that could, go up massively in value, or you could earn a nice weekly, monthly, or yearly income simply from that NFT. So buying the right NFT at the right time could be extremely valuable. So how does this all equate to Hitchhiker of Stars? Well, that's what I want to get on to now. Before I do that, I just want to show this. This is the Rumble Kong League Twitter. And if you go on here, they have 48,000 followers. I'll explain why I mentioned that in a minute. That's pretty significant. They have 48,000 followers. Their project looks to be really solid, and it looks like it's going to do extremely well. People that bought those Kongs in the early days look like they could be in great shape for the future. Why am I telling you that? So if we go on to this, Hitchhiker of the Star, of course, you'd be aware of this. So how many of those are there? Well, there's actually less of them there. There's 5,600 of them there. In fact, I think the figure is actually 5,550, 55, I think. So it's 5,555 as far as I know, but they've rounded here to 5.6, I think. So how do you decide if you would like to buy one of these? Does it look like it might be a good investment? Who knows? And the one thing I'll add into the conversation here is I'm certainly not a financial advisor. Take everything I say here with a pinch of salt. I am no expert whatsoever. I am literally doing this just to walk through and see what options and possibilities are out there. So if you look here, they've got 5,600 of them in total. The current floor price is about 0.21 Ethereum. So if you want to, let's say this is the floor price. So this is the cheapest one that's out there at the minute. So if you click on this one, you can go in and you can have a look at it, and you see you can buy it now for that price. It's just shy of $400. Or you could go in and make an offer, a lesser offer, and see if they would sell it to you for that price. You can do that. You can see down here, the history of it. This person originally, one person bought it for, call it 0.13 Ethereum. It was sold after that for, slightly less. So it's actually gone slightly down in value. Many of them have gone, the opposite direction. But as it stands, this is based purely on the look. We don't know, what's going to be the most rare when it comes to these. Well, if I just click on this to bring me back out to the overall, I'm just going to click over here. You can change your search. So if I just change my search to, let's say, I don't know, most favorite, I'm just going to scroll down here and see what is likely to be the more rare ones to look at. So I would expect the likes of these, possibly the ones that are gold, more than likely are going to be the rare ones. I don't know that. I'm only taking a guess because we don't have those details yet. But to look at, you would expect, maybe a gold one, and it's also got this visor on, and, it's got a particular headband on. These are various things that might have different values to look at. Again, you can see ones down here with a red eye. There's all different types of ones here. And by the way, look at the price that some of these are selling for. 8.5 Ethereum, 25 Ethereum. And now their prices they're asking for, it doesn't mean they're going to get them. But the last time this was bought, it was at 2.28 Ethereum, which was close on $5,000. Someone paid about $5,000 for this already. So somebody out there is expecting some big things from these. That doesn't mean they're right, but that's what's happening out there. So that's based on their rarity of how they look. But as I said in the previous example I was giving in the lead into this, is for me, I believe what you really will want is ones that are rare in what they can do. Now, of course, we don't know what those are yet. There are no traits yet as to what these can do. So what's the deal? What do we do from here? What's the opportunity? Well, let's say for argument's sake, you go in and you were to buy this one, which is the cheapest one on the market right now. You could go in and buy that at its buy now price in any one of these. So let's say this guy, let's say I like the look of this guy. I go in and I click on buy now. You can just go through, you click on I understand. You can click on purchase and then you buy it. It'll go through, provided you're connected to your, for example, MetaMask, and that'll do that. I'm not going to go through that just for the moment. But let's say you buy that and it's, 0.22 Ethereum, which, is about $400 right now. What if this one that you buy ends up being one that's particularly rare? Maybe it's a brilliant pilot. Maybe it's very good at mining. Maybe it's very good at whatever other skills. Maybe it's an army one and it's particularly good at that. Maybe it's one that's a double breeder, which means it can go on to, a particular planet. What if this is a particular one that has traits that are quite rare, but heavily needed in the hybernation? Well, then there's a possibility that this particular one could be worth a hell of a lot of money in the future. Maybe as an asset, it could be worth, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 Ethereum. Maybe it'll be worthless. I don't know. I'm just saying what if. On the other hand, it could be this one. It could be this one. Who knows which one is going to be rare, which are going to have the rare traits? What are they going to be needed? What do we need in the hibernation? The point is, at the moment, we don't know. The same applies, though, when people were buying that previous project I spoke about. In many cases there, when they minted them, they had no idea whether they're going to get a rare one or not. So then maybe the possibility, if you're in a position, is maybe to buy 1 or 2 or 3. Will this be successful? Will this project be successful? I can't tell you yes or no right now. But what I can tell you is this. I just showed you in the Rumble Kong League project, their following on Twitter was 50,000 or 48,000. Let's call it 50,000. What do we know about Hyper Nation right now? We know there is well in excess of 100,000 people on the platform right now. They already have their own NFT. It's their passport. It's their gateway. If they ever sell it, they lose their gateway. So as long as Hibernation is all that we believe it's going to be, and people will want to stay in there, both financially and for all the opportunities that are inside there, well, they're not going to sell their existing NFTs. Which means then, if you want these particular NFTs, there's now a minimum of 100,000 people aware and watching and seeing what the possibilities are in Hibernation. What if they see that they're going to need some of these NFTs? We now have 100,000 people looking at only 5,555 NFTs. It could happen that the demand would be very high, whereas the supply remains the same. As some of these get bought up, some people will hold them. The supply is less. Potentially, if more and more people join Hibernation, which we believe is going to happen, what happens when there's 1 million people in Hibernation? What happens when they're looking for particular NFTs? What happens if they're looking for the one that you have? Then its asset value could rocket, but also you may well be able to rent that out for very significant money per week or per month. Of course, none of this might happen. I'm just saying, what if, and are you prepared? So these are the possibilities with NFTs. These are some of the things that you should be looking out for. You could buy one of these NFTs and they could go to zero. This thing could be worthless. Let's be clear with that. That's the same with any NFT. They are at the higher risk when it comes to anything crypto. However, I've shown you some of the possibilities when it comes to a particular project. And by the way, I showed you a mid-tier project. There are projects out there, for example, and you can Google this, for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club. When they were minted between $200 and $400. The floor on those right now is $100,000. The cheapest one you can buy is $100,000. Many have sold for millions. Of course, that's one of the extreme. There are plenty of projects at the other end that were minted for $200 or $300 and they're now worthless. So that's the other side of the equation. So the bottom line is, if you can find a project that you think has the potential to do very well, you can find a project where there's a lot of people are aware of it and interested in it, and you can find a project that have low numbers of NFTs, well, then that's a project at least worth looking at and maybe taking a chance on. Is that this project? Well, we know it's got a huge number of followers. We believe it's going to grow exponentially over the next few months and years. We know there's only 5,555 of them. I'll let you do the maths from there. For me, this is certainly a project that's of interest. And at the very least, people should, check out what NFTs are all about. Check the link on that 101 blockchain article I showed you. Get up to speed on NFTs, and then get up to speed on what's out there on OpenSea. And in particular, I would suggest at the very least, research this particular project. On that, hopefully that was useful and you got some insight into what NFTs can be, and you can make some decisions from there. Talk to you soon.